So hey folks, today we're going to be taking a look at the Highlands in War battle mat and the Highlands terrain set that is available from Gamemat.eu. As you can see, it has a very natural, rustic feeling, I guess you could say. But let's get down to the table, take a closer look at this really neat looking terrain. So here you have everything that's going to come in the Highlands terrain set. You get no less than 16 pieces. You have 6 larger kind of placeholder pieces, and then you have these other smaller scatter pieces, and there's 10 of those. So there's a lot of variability as far as the terrain set is concerned, so that's a plus right off the top of the bat. Now, you have, of these 6 pieces, you have one that is 13 by 9 by 5, and that's pretty close to exactly what this is. And this is a hefty piece of resin. It is not so dense to where it's cumbersome, but it is definitely dense enough to be durable and will hold up to a lot of, I think, wear and tear on the table. Of course, if you drop it or anything like that, I'm not going to test that here. But of course, as resin products are, you can't throw them around and act stupid with them, but as far as using them on a table during gameplay, around miniatures, normal wear and tear, moving them off of your shelves and onto the table, that type of thing, I think it's going to hold up just fine. Now, the measurements online get a little wonky after this because, and I don't know why, I just needed to mention it, I think, because some of the measurements on here are a little bit bigger than some of the other measurements. For example, this one's, they say that this one's 4 by 8 by 12. That's not exactly correct. This is about 11 inches high. Round up to the nearest foot, I get it. So it's not that big of a deal. I just wanted to let you guys know that for posterity's sake. We also have one that is a 9 by 7 by 4. It's over here, and that's pretty close. But again, some of those measurements got a little bit wonky. But these are very, again, this one's the mother load, so to speak, but this one is also pretty hefty as well. And of course, it looks really cool. It looks just, I mean, it just looks great. And it's very hefty, and it's not heavy. So that's a really cool thing. I like it a lot. Now, this one is the one that's awkwardly shaped and awkwardly sized on the website, but again, this is just a really cool monolith looking thing, and I think they just did a really good job. This one, again, also very durable resin, but at the same time, you don't want to go, playing football with it or anything like that. Now, for size sake, I do have a little model here from Star Wars Legion, the land speeder, and so that just gives you an idea of how big these things are. This is not a small model by any case, but you can see how big these pieces are by comparison. So here he is. He's flying around. I'm sorry, I'm just a little kid. But anyway, there you have that. Now, these are anywhere from about 2 to 3 inches in size. And these look like you could have got them outside. That's how detailed and how cool these molds are, but they have that flat piece on them, so they're going to stay pretty flat and they're not going to roll around or anything like that unless you actually roll them around. You know what I'm saying? So if you set them down, they're not going to tip over, that type of thing. This one is one of the smaller pieces. This was pretty close exact to 6 by 4 by 4, but it's a nice little piece as well. These smaller pieces here, they do have a lot of neat size to them. They have a little hole in the rock there. You might be able to exploit that for line of sight, but if you can, you're a better miniatures gamer than I am. But anyway, it's a really neat piece as well, and just adds a lot of flavor to the board. So again, this miniature set is really neat. I like it a lot. I love the nature look to it. So there you have it. Let's get to the battle mat. So the battle mat is pretty neat. It has a lot of really neat detail as far as the nature, grasslands, kind of a little bit of a worn battlefield look to it. So it is pretty detailed that way. And it is 4 by 4. So this is the Highlands in War side of it. And then this is the Forgotten Realms side of the playmat. And again, it is double-sided. So when you pay the $79 for this thing, you're actually getting two 4x4 playmats. So keep that in mind as you're comparing prices over the course of your searches online. Now, one of the things I wanted to test here is that the website claims that these mats are waterproof. And I know that other neoprene mats that I've used in the past weren't waterproof. They kind of soaked everything up. So I wanted to test that to see if they were indeed waterproof. So I have right here a cup of water. And I'm going to pour some of it, not all of it, to see if this is indeed waterproof. So here we... Okay, now that is very awesome. That is so cool. The water is like beating up and running around. That is awesomeness. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to try to soak all this up. See, it's pushing it around. The only thing that's soaking it up is the actual napkin that I'm using. And it's just coming right off. There's still some beads on there. That's pretty cool. And when I see there's still a little bit on there, I mean that it's just because now I went and got a new napkin. This is completely dry now. So that's really cool. But let's take it up a notch. This is one of my favorite drinks, Bai. Now, it's not just water. It's got some other stuff in it. So I was just wondering, hey, maybe it's waterproof still? I don't know. Let's see. Pour. That is amazing. As you can see, that stuff is just pooling around and running around. It is not soaking into the thing at all. That is just really cool. So, I know, feels like an infomercial, but hey, I wanted to test what the website said, and it appears that they ain't lying to you, man. They are telling you the truth. Absolutely dry. And you look underneath, nothing. So that's about that for the Highlands terrain set and the Highlands in War / Forgotten Realms double-sided 4x4 playmat from Gamemat.eu. So this is really kind of a, I guess you could call it an informational video, but it's also a review because I think this stuff is worth the money. Now again, I say that with the understanding that this is a luxury item. I understand that this kind of stuff sometimes, maybe even more often than not, falls outside of the realms of people's budget. So unless you are specifically budgeting for these kinds of things, like your miniatures gamers or people who are trying to maybe put a cover over a table that they use for other things so that they also use for gaming, this might not be within your realm of purchasing. But if it is, this is the kind of video that you need to watch so that you can see what the product looks like on the table, in use, all of this other kind of stuff. So that's why I'm doing this video. And the review part of it, quite frankly, is not much different than what I've said in the past. These products are worth it if you can afford it. And I hate beating that drum every single time, but I want to make sure people understand that this is definitely a luxury item, and I get that on the get-go. But this, for the prices that they are charging, realize that especially with this mat, it's $79. That's an $80 product. But keep in mind, you're getting two mats for that one price. And challenge me here. I think if you go look for similar products and what they charge for single-sided, you'll see that this is actually a pretty good bargain as far as that's concerned. It also comes with a carrying case It's not that heavy. It's 2.5 kilograms. It's only 2 millimeters thick. They pride themselves on no dog ears, which is a cool thing as well because, and again, I've had this in storage for about 2 weeks now. And as you can see on the video, there's no dog ears at all. I didn't have to counter roll this before I set it out or anything like that, like you usually have to do with other kinds of neoprene mats. So there's just so many different positives. That waterproof test that I did, I'll be honest with you, I tested it before I recorded. And I would have recorded it either way, but once I did test it and I saw how cool and how true their waterproof statement was, I definitely wanted to show it off because that's a pretty big statement to make. Now, I wouldn't go and pour, pop and Coke and all this other kind of stuff all over it, but because, it says that it's waterproof. So the test that I did use water-based products. Just water, like, the Bai and the regular tap water. So I wouldn't go hog wild with that. I wouldn't push the limits unless you're okay with replacing something in case you mess it up. But at the same time, I think it's pretty cool that they say that the product is something, and it is. So that's cool. I like that. So that's it from me. I hope you understand that this is an informational video. I want you to make the decision on your own whether or not you can afford this or whether or not you want to afford it. It's up to you. So that's it from me for these products from Gamemat.eu. See you guys on the flip side.